Presidential candidates. They'll debate in less than an hour from now. Joining us tonight, once again, is our political analyst, Brian Sobel. Brian, the one thing I've noticed from vice presidential debates over the years is that they tend to be more respectful,
yes,
and they tend to talk more about substance. Do you think that'll be the case tonight?
Yeah, it'll be the same case tonight. You have two very experienced politicians, held office for a long time. Both have debated quite often. I think you'll see a completely different tenor in that room this evening. You're not going to see the interruptions and things like that. I think you'll see a very civil debate and probably a very interesting debate.
Yeah, these two men are virtually unknown. What do they have to prove tonight?
Well, that each person in their own right could step in and be president of the United States. So they have to have and show the gravitas that a presidential candidate would need to show and be if that were to happen. The worst case scenario, that they could step in and do something.
So last debate, the first debate between Clinton and Trump, there were 80-some million watching it. Tonight, I imagine it'll be about half that.
Right.
Still, a lot of eyes on the debate tonight. There are a lot of undecided voters. Could tonight's debate impact those voters who are still undecided? History
tells us that it doesn't change the numbers very much. It probably solidifies for each base the ticket. Feeling good about the number 2 and the number 1 is better than feeling only good about the number 1, as an example. So, Frank, I don't think so. I don't think the numbers change a whole lot tonight. But I'll be interested, frankly, in how they go at each other. Whether they do it because these people are a proxy for the top person on the ticket, and therefore they want to argue what the top person is talking about, or whether they have their own issues that they're going to debate. It'll be interesting to see which way it goes.
What else are you going to be looking for tonight?
Who actually emerges as somebody who really has a command of the national scene, because it suggests that if anything were to happen to the presidential aspirant, they can step in and do the job. And that's really what this is all about.
If this may be a hard question, I don't know if you can answer this, but if you're advising either one of these men, Tim Kaine, Governor Mike Pence, what would you tell them? What would you advise them as to what their message needs to be to really hammer home tonight?
Well, I think for Pence, he has to be the steady hand on the rudder, because I think people perceive Trump as going off in different directions. Kaine, on the other hand, I think can be kind of the good guy, the guy you'd go have a beer with, the folksy guy that you'd have no problem sitting down with, sort of in many respects like Joe Biden was. Joe Biden had a reputation as, and deservedly so, as somebody you could just have a conversation with. I think that's who Kaine will represent tonight.
Let's talk about the second presidential debate coming up on Sunday. What do you see happening in that debate that didn't happen in the first debate?
I think Trump will probably go at Clinton for a lot of these issues relative to women, to be honest with you. He claims he held back because he didn't want to hurt the feelings of Chelsea Clinton, but...
Are you talking about women in her husband's life?
Women in her husband's life, but one other thing. A lot of states around the world, countries, have given money to the Clinton Foundation while oppressing women in their own countries. She has to answer for that, and I think Trump's going to press her on that. So that's going to be an interesting town hall format, by the way, which will be different than the two people behind the podium.
All right, well, we will all be watching.
Oh, yes, absolutely. It's going to be very interesting.
Brian, thanks very much.
You're welcome, Julie.
There are watch parties